Thank you, John, for an introduction, and hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to this presentation. As John has introduced, NeoGeo is a company which is new into Canada, but it has a vast experience of more than 15 years in geospatial technologies. I'm very happy to introduce the organization and some of the solutions and services that we have offered in the field of engineering infrastructure, urban development, utilities, more projects towards the engineering fields. Today, my presentation has a two-part agenda. One is introduction to NeoGeo's capabilities, their experience, and then talk about the solutions in these areas. We are one of the fastest growing geospatial services providers across India and Canada, with offices across Canada and India. And we are expert in geospatial data acquisition, modeling, and management. As you can see, these are the end-to-end solutions in geospatial field. We have been giving solutions in the fields of engineering and infrastructure for more than 15 years. And we are a one-stop shop for custom-made solutions. As we understand, all these projects actually require different solutions. Each has different set of problems, different set of terrain, as well as different challenges. So we actually build custom-made solutions for these problems. Most of these projects that we execute are turnkey, basically meaning that we are giving solutions starting from data acquisition, data processing, data modeling, and finally, data management. As you can see, the foundation of all our services are the quality parameters. And as a solution provider, as a service provider, we understand quality is the most important parameter. You can see that we are qualified ISO 9001, which is basically for the quality management system. We are also certified ISO 27001, which is basically for information security. We understand that we are dealing with the information and data of the customers, and this data is very secretive and very important for the customer. So we understand and we work with this data very responsibly. We are also certified CMMI level 3, which is for the people's maturity model, and we have continuous systems where we actually train our people and we keep on increasing our capabilities in latest technologies. As you can see, we are a company who's involved in data collection. You can see on the first year of this particular picture where we are collecting data from the field using the latest technologies. And then in the second year, you can see that we are processing the data, modeling the data, having a lot of domain expertise. And thirdly, we are managing the data, delivering the data using the geo portals. To give a brief about NeoGeo, we are a 15-year-old organization. As I said, we have more than 200 engineers. And these engineers are having wide variety of experience, and they have been executing projects in various domain areas. Domain is very important, as we all understand that geospatial projects actually cater into these domains, and we need to understand the domain to use the geospatial data very effectively to execute the projects timely and within the budgets. We have rich experience in system integration, application development. Apart from the data capture and the data delivery, we also have experience in system integration. When we develop applications using a standard industry software like Esri platforms or Hexagon platforms or any other platforms, we create geo portals using these platforms, and we deliver data. We do design and consultancy services for smart cities, safe cities, property taxes, and some of the other urban infrastructure projects. These projects are very important, and today I'm going to focus more on these engineering-based projects where we talk about utilities, smart city, safe city, and some of these urban development projects. We have been also rated by different rating industries. It's been recognized as 10 most recommended GIS solutions provider by Insight Success and the top 20 most promising GIS companies in India. And we are also recognized as 10 leading startups in India working in the geo-intelligent field. We have a lot of proficiency in cognitive technologies. We are using AI, ML, and robotic process automation, analytics in developing solutions. We have been hearing about some of these topics. We have heard about AI and ML spoken by Sanjay, and how these technologies are influencing GIS implementations. Also, similarly, yesterday we were listening to some of these projects like subsurface modeling, which we are going to cover extensively. We are working on very complex and big projects. As I said, we are providing solutions, custom-made solutions, which are end-to-end. And we are working on very complex projects and delivering the projects, making sure that the infrastructure companies execute their projects within the time and within the budgets. We have been a partner of choice for major industry technology majors like Trimble, Esri, Maxar, Hexagon, and we have been working with their technologies, implementing their technologies across wide variety of domains. We have also experience in providing services across the platforms, like I mentioned, and also on open source where it is required, and we are technology agnostic, and we have expertise and experience in executing projects in wide variety of industry platforms. Some of the major success stories that we bring onto the table for execution and implementing in Canadian area is execution of CORS project, that is continuously operated reference stations, geodetic infrastructure. We have established more than 250 geodetic infrastructure stations, continuously operated stations across 7 states in India. We are one of the pioneers in this area, and we have been providing the correction services across. We have been working in urban local bodies. Across India, we had worked in majority of urban local bodies. We have done more than 2.5 million properties mapping, not only in 2D, but 3D. We have done a lot of applications. We have developed applications for this. In smart cities, we have worked on integrated traffic management, emergency services, situation management. Traffic management is one of the major areas that requires a lot of application of geospatial technology, and we have successfully implemented projects in major cities in India. Land records and creation of cadastre, it's one of the very important areas for development of any infrastructure across the countries. When we develop cross-country infrastructure projects, we need to understand the owners of the land and how the compensations are paid and what is the land use, land cover of the area that is there. We have done similar projects. We have done water resources and network management projects. We have done cross-country infrastructure projects. We have core expertise in cross-country infrastructure, including highways, roads, power transmission, where we have done not only just the geospatial route analysis, but also we have done a lot of engineering projects and engineering work. Utility is another major subject of our interest, and we have done a lot of projects where we have done projects for power distribution, telecom, and sewerage. We have done in telecom, we have done a lot of optic fiber planning and execution. We create data. Some of the customers may just require the data that is created from high resolution satellite imagery, aerial photos, or drone data capture and delivering the data. So we have done similar projects in many of the areas. We have environment forest as one of the vertical where we do a lot of work. We have, again, as I said, software development and MIS. Broadly, we divide our total capabilities into 3 basic objects. One is the map, the other is the model, and the lastly it is the manage. Map actually deals with mapping the objects from the ground. Basically, this is where what we call as data capture from the field. Data capture is with the latest technologies using the mobile, aerial LiDAR, GPR, CORS, and GNSS. These are latest technologies which are mastered by us and with a deep experience and unparalleled experience in various urban applications, transportation, cross-country infrastructure, power transmission, so on and so forth. And in model, we actually use this data that is captured from the field and work with the domain expertise to create usable information from this data that is captured. And in the manage group, we actually use this data more actionable, more usable, and you can actually put this data on a cloud-based platforms, create geoportals, where the data is being continuously updated from the field. The data is used by the industry for their actions on the ground. Similarly, they also get the data updated, use it for the maintenance and continuous operating purposes. So these are the 3 areas that we broadly divide the entire scope of or the gamut of operations. When we talk about the mapping proficiency, our mapping proficiency is basically to use the latest technologies. As you can see, we are using GPR, that is ground penetrating radar, for subsurface mapping. And this is one of the major challenges that the world is facing. And whenever there is an infrastructure that is being planned in cities or otherwise, you need to understand what exactly is happening within the ground, and we need to understand the kind of utilities that are running below us. This is something which we have been successfully doing, and I would cite an example of how we had implemented the GPR technology to do a major project in one of the big cities of India. Another technology that we extensively use is LiDAR. We are using LiDAR in all the three modes: aerial, mobile, and terrestrial. We are using LiDAR to capture data and create 3D models. 3D models are becoming more and more effective, and we are using 3D models instead of 2D data for doing a lot of applications in cities and cross-country infrastructure. So we are using LiDAR effectively. That I'm going to cover, as well as GPR in this. Drones, UAVs are playing a very important part in some of the areas where we cannot access and there is no accessibility through roads and things like that. So whenever there are greenfield projects, we are using drones for capture of the data. Similarly, we are using CORS network, GNSS, with great effect for good quality deliverables. And the other is satellite, which is basically now giving a lot of data, very high resolution data. We are working with Maxar. As I already mentioned, we are a partner to Maxar, and we are using the data for creation of maps as well as models. When I say models, we are talking about DEM, DSM, DTM, and creation of more applications using satellite data. So as we understand, better resolution will lead to speed of execution, and that actually delivers good quality outputs, which actually help in engineering companies execute their projects faster and within our model efficiency. We actually get the data from the field, and then we use the data into that particular domain. As we all understand, we collect a lot of data with this latest technology. Apart from what exactly is needed for this application, we also collect a lot of other data. So we need to bring the data and bring the required information out of the data and model that as per the client requirements. So when we model this, we are using the latest technologies like AI, ML, and taking out the required data from the entire set of data that has been captured in the field. And finally, we are using platforms for delivering this data. After doing the analysis, we are finally delivering the data on our managed platform. We have this platform that we call as Manage Internally, which actually leads and does the asset management, planning and analysis, field mobility, decision support systems, and citizen engagement. So starting from data collection, organizing, exchanging the data, and dissemination of data to field. We also have systems where mobile applications are developed and the data is being updated from the field directly. And we have a citizen engagement where the citizen can directly access their data and do a lot of applications. So these are some of the things that we are using based on our platform that we have developed. We are creating geoportals where geoportals are created for various applications. Like I said, we have created one for forestry, and one we have for road asset management system, so on and so forth. So depending upon the customer requirements, we actually develop these geoportals and disseminate the information, and also use this for the further maintenance. This is very important for us to mention here that we have been engaged with industry standard platforms, the technology platforms. We are a partner to Maxar, we are a partner to Trimble, we are a partner to ISRI. Maxar has been one of the providers of the data, satellite data from the beginning, and today that is the best satellite data that is available. Also, we are Maxar master reseller for the entire country, India. We have been using Maxar data for creation of the data databases for our customers, maps, as well as DEM, DSM for analysis. We have executed some of the toughest projects using this high resolution satellite data. We have used the 50 centimeter stereo data for creation of a broad gauge railway line, which is basically running from the northern plains in India to somewhere higher up in the Himalayas to a place which is almost about 3,000 feet above the ground level, and which has out of 125 kilometers of the line, 100 kilometers are pure tunnels. So you can understand the kind of works that we have done with Maxar Imagery in engineering and technology areas. Trimble has been our partner for providing CORS establishment and CORS services, basically the positioning services. We have established, we are a very trusted partner for Trimble for more than 5 years, and we have been providing Trimble technology to our customers. We have been using this technology ourselves. Esri as a platform, we have been using Esri for many of the clients that use their standard software. We have further built applications. We have a center of excellence for ArcGIS-based applications and solution development. We are being continuously trained by Esri on their latest technologies. So we bring in all these technologies together, and we build further applications on top of this to provide a complete end-to-end solution, which is of highest quality and which is also custom built for a particular customer. I mean, each customer on his own requirement, and the custom built application is his. So now, I mean, this is basically what to talk about our experience and expertise we have gained over the last 15 years. And what we want to do in Canada, we are about a year into Canada operations. We have one of our directors actually sitting there and leading our operation in Canada. We understand that is the growth story, and Canada has been growing very quickly in the last few years, maybe a decade or more. And there are a lot of opportunities for the technology partners to work in Canada and provide solutions. So we are very keen to participate in this growth story. We are leveraging the technology, expertise, and solutions from whatever experience we have, and more than our most of our people who will be executing these projects are well trained and well experienced. As I already mentioned, we have the partnership with domain engineering consultants. We'll be working with most of these consulting companies which are working all across the world. We already have a lot of working arrangement with these companies. So we build solutions. These solutions are differentiable, scalable, and of great value to these customers. And we have collaboration with the industry partners, and we have turnkey projects. In fact, one of the very important things is the word turnkey projects. Basically, we take a project starting from the data collection from the field, the data acquisition. We use latest technology. We model the data into the client requirements, and finally, we create the outputs that are required using geoportals, using some other software. And also, we do a lot of projects in BIM and 3D modeling, right? And today I'm coming to the second part of my presentation, which is to deal with what are the solutions that we are looking at, and what is it that we are going to present in this in this particular conference is some of the engineering and the technology areas and where we have provided the solutions. Today we are moving from 2D to 3D, and 3D solutions are becoming more and more available. 3D data is becoming more and more available, and most of the applications are being done in 3D mode rather than just a 2D mode. So, and some of the bigger challenges that are given today are the cities, because cities are really moving very fast. They are expanding, and they are growing horizontally, vertically, and we need to understand vertically doesn't mean only in the jet direction, in minus jet as well, which is going below the earth. So we need to understand how the city is behaving, and the complete 3D model of the city needs to be understood. So planning, security of the infrastructure, traffic, and even management are the new challenges, the big challenges that are there, in the hands of people, in the hands of authorities. So how to make this city smart? 3D models are useful in many different ways. I think earlier speakers have already demonstrated how 3D is becoming more like the norm. And we are using 3D models. We are creating BIM models for the houses and complexes. We are creating BIM models, and we are creating 3D models for the cities, going all the way from LOD 1 to LOD 5, where we are giving complete details about the cities for understanding the textures, houses, land use, land cover, and industry, so on and so forth. So some of the main applications that we can talk about is energy applications, area of the building envelope, and energy demand analysis, building types. We need to understand line of sight between points. Line of sight is very, very important for 5G planning, and we need to understand noise source, basically understanding the applications on the noise and absorption, transmission tower management, BIM or digital twins. Like we have heard other people talking about digital twins becoming the norm in doing city analysis. So we are actually going to use the basic technologies, and we create these digital twins and also develop the applications. What are the basic requirements for creation of the 3D digital twins and 3D models of the cities? We have three basic components in this. One is LiDAR. LiDAR is a very, very important point of collection of the data. We can actually collect billions of points, and we have LiDAR of different capabilities. We have 32 channel, we have 64, 128 channel LiDARs collecting vast amount of data. Today, the data of LiDAR is processed for various applications, and we can use automated processes. It is basically a mix of manual processing and automated processing. We can develop models from the LiDAR data, separating returns into discrete surfaces and then remove anomalies so that we can actually create the models which are absolutely a replica of the real ground. We have done projects in roads. We have used LiDAR extensively for some of the infrastructure projects where we have done road asset management systems. This is a point cloud data of the road and a flyover. This kind of data we have captured with a 128 channel LiDAR. These are billions of points. We have modeled the entire city based on LiDAR data. We use high resolution satellite data. We use LiDAR, and then we also use the drone based data capture. Wherever we have very small lanes which need to be covered, we can actually cover with even a backpack LiDAR. So we have used multiple technologies, and we have collected the data. In road asset management, if you see some of the examples, you can see the satellite image, the data capture from a LiDAR, and you can actually see the real life data, real life photo. And you can see that each minute detail is captured very well, so that the model that we are going to create using this LiDAR data is very effective. So we can actually see various features, manholes, we can see the signboards, light poles. We have created a complete system of road asset management system. This system can be directly supplied, directly served to a client requirement. And finally, we also have the ready-made shape files or the drawing files, which could be given to the customer, which could be used for further maintenance and managing the assets that are there on the ground. This is one of the key input that we take into a 3D model creation. The other is actually a subsurface mapping. We have been having a lot of expertise in subsurface mapping for the last about 6-7 years. We have done thousands of kilometers of subsurface mapping. And as I said, I would like to share an example of a project that we have done in a major city. There are about 3,000 junctions have been selected, and in each junction, half a square kilometer of area has been taken up for surveillance and traffic management. We had to set up cameras. One of the big companies, infrastructure companies, was executing this project of placing about 10,000 cameras in these 3,000 junctions to do a surveillance as well as to have application on integrated traffic management. And it has the systems like number plate recognition and red light jumping and so on and so forth. For all these cameras, we need to have a feed, the electric feed, as well as the data should be taken through a broadband cable. Doing this kind of a work in a very, very busy city, you can understand what is the kind of complexities that are involved. We have done this entire project. We have done a 3D model using the LiDAR. We have created the poles. We have created the heights of these cameras. We could come out with the field of view to cover this entire 0.5 square kilometer around that particular pole. And we have given the GPR data for all these junctions in such a way that after doing almost 3,000 junctions and 0.5 square kilometers of area around the circle, we could deliver the data in such a way that they did not cut even a single existing utility line. I think that is a huge achievement, and most of the projects in this kind of infrastructure projects get delayed because you actually accidentally cut the existing cables. So this is very, very important, and we have the experience and expertise to deliver big projects, complex projects in such areas. GPR, as we all understand, technology, it's a non-destructive method and uses the radio pulses to image the subsurface. Apart from the GPR technology, we also use the steel detectors and other metal detectors so that we can map all the underground utilities. So we use all the hidden utilities. We have the public facing data, because if you cut any of these utilities, the public is going to be affected and their services are affected. So we need to map all the customers who are connected to these lines. We need to have a very high locational accuracy, not only in terms of X and Y, but also the depth at which this particular utility is located. We need to understand the entire 3D model, not only on top of the earth, but also below the earth. So we have done this kind of projects. So when we have data which is captured from LiDAR, which is captured from drones and subsurface modeling, we actually come to a model which is actually a digital twin of the existing ground situation, which is system oriented. It can be planned, it can be maintained. The data is very precise for decision making. You can take any kind of a decision using this data. Construction, staking onto the ground, you can use machine control for doing some of the works on the ground. So it is much faster restoration, because you know where the utility is running and where it is originating and where it is ending. So it is very proactive, and we can act very quickly when you use this kind of a technology. We have done complex projects like this. And finally, the drawings are made for utilities, which we supply as a part of our final deliverables to the customers. And finally, once we create this data, once we have this data from these things, we create a 3D model. The 3D model could be something like this. The 3D models could be having LOD 1, LOD 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending upon the client requirements. This 3D could be used, as we said, it could be used for change detection. It could be for 3D flyovers. And here you can actually see the modeling which is used for a 5G planning, and power lines could be tracked and vegetation could be tracked below these power line corridors. So these are some of the applications that we have been doing, and my presentation today was to focus mainly on the 3D, though we have done many other projects. We intend to also work in Canada on some of these newer areas, or the areas where there is a lot of requirement. We have seen over the last 2 days, there has been a lot of focus on climate change, greenhouse gases emissions, and how to track that, carbon credit management. So some of these areas we are going to work very closely, and we would like to have an opportunity to work with the government organizations. In fact, NRCan has presented on the first day that they have collected a lot of LiDAR data, and they are using this data for some of their applications. So we would like to work closely with organizations like NRCan. We would like to work with some other major infrastructure companies in Canada and execute projects in a very, very efficient manner. So finally, as I mentioned, that one of our directors is located in Canada. Our office is, the address is given. It is in Mississauga, and Devender is there, and we are very happy to be a part of the Canadian growth story, and we would like that we be given some projects, and we be given the POCs and all to prove our capabilities.
Sri, thank you so much. It's fantastic. That's what a holistic view of NeoGeo. I don't think I've seen many geospatial consulting companies with that many levels of expertise in so many areas. Congratulations on coming to Canada and offering your services. We've got time for one question. something I'd like to ask kind of broadly about what NeoGeo and your future plans for Canada. Well, what's the strategy for operations in Canada? Where are you hoping to go?
See, as I explained about our operations in India also, we start with actually proving ourselves. We do understand that we are entering a new geography and we have the expertise and experience. We want to prove our capabilities, deliver projects within the time frame and the required technical specifications. So the approach would be to take up projects and deliver projects on time. We are using solution platforms. We have solution platforms. So this is what we would like to do. We are going to use latest technologies. We are working with some other niche technologies that are coming up. So we would come out with more and more solutions. As I said, we are a solutions company, a services company. So our work would be to actually deliver projects.
Fantastic. I see that Devinder's joined us for the Q&A. Devinder, is there something you'd like to add before we go for it?
Thank you, John, for giving us this opportunity to be here on this fantastic forum. And congratulations for putting this together. I just want to add on to what Sri has mentioned, a very elaborate presentation. Of course, Canada is a very important market for us to bring that expertise into geospatial space. We want to expand our sphere of partnership to leverage both the Indian and the Canadian market. India is a very, very open and exciting market with the new regulatory environment opening up. There's a whole lot of opportunities for the Canadian companies to go there and deliver their services and products. And we would like to partner with the Canadian companies here, give them access. We have a whole lot of access to the Indian market. We've been there for the last 15 years, both in the civil, and we are the exclusive in the DNI space as well. So the Canadian companies who are looking to provide the services in the DNI space, we would like to give them access. We like to do partnerships, and we are confident that we can meaningfully contribute to both the Canadian and the Indian market. And so we're looking forward to having and establishing these markets and making more partnerships here. Thank you so much again.
That's fantastic. I would encourage you both to put contact information in the chat window, as well as on our Slack channels, so people know where to get a hold of you. We saw some really exciting projects that you've worked on and technologies that you're using. Are you going to be hiring in Canada?
Yes. Of course, we have already had two people here, one from the technical and one from the BD, and we are looking to hire much more because we can, like Sri said, to deliver turnkey projects. We have to establish boots on ground to actually turn around the projects. So we are looking to hire. Yeah, go ahead, Sri.
Yeah, in fact, I would like to say one thing, that wherever we have executed the projects, infrastructure projects especially, we have understood the data needs to be processed at that same place. I mean, we have seen that it is very imperative for us to work with the customer. It is not that the customer has given us something and we are processing it somewhere else. There could be some areas of work which could be done remotely, but more and more work in this kind of fields, what I presented today, it will be done along with the either the government agency which is executing it, or the construction company which is doing it. So we will be establishing more and more teams in Canada, and we want to establish a full-fledged execution teams in Canada. That's the plan going forward.
That's fantastic. Exciting news for anybody out there who's thinking of joining an exciting company. I would encourage them to get in touch with NeoGeo here in Canada. Thank you both. Thank you.
And finally, I would like to thank you, John, for arranging such a wonderful conference and making it free for everybody to join. Though it's virtual, I was actually planning to come to Canada to physically attend this event, but I think probably the next time. I'm very happy. I congratulate you for arranging such a magnificent event.
Thank you very much. You're very gracious.